well, Spalding Toy and Train Fair or Collectors Fair, whatever you call it now, the railway stuff is getting probably about 40% of what's in there versus sort of die cast lorries and general other stuff. Um, Not much pickings today for me. Obviously, rolling stock on pretty much, unless it's a good price. It's not really a lot I'm in the market for. I did see some Mark 2Ds that are £15 that I've paid a lot less for, so that's good to see. I got a bargain off of eBay, which is a rarity in its own. So, Fenland Model Railways, Alan, he was here this week, so pack of wheels, tongue and groove boarding might be useful for scratch building. And I dug this out of his odds bin, which was, I've never bothered with these before, but it's a re-railer, which for my American stuff might be quite handy because the small wheels, trying to get them on anything is a help. And some turnouts, switches, points, whatever you want to call them. These are all electro frog, although most of them had the wires cut. £6 each. Did come at 36. He knocked me the pound off. Ooh. But they all look fairly clean and tidy. They're all okay there. I went through the box and got the best ones that I could see. So all the rail heads are still attached to the sleepers. Those bits aren't worn, and the check rails are all there. Well, hopefully they're all there. Springs and everything all work. So not too many bargains, but it's made the trip worthwhile, I guess, as long as the speed camera didn't catch me on the way in, because I thought, ooh, I've just been through there and forgot all about the bloody camera. So I might get a nasty surprise in a fortnight. Oh well. Right, back to whatever the next segment is. So I think this is the other camera, because I'm pretty sure it did say it didn't include a box. So we'll see. Obviously there's an address, so back shortly. Yeah, so quite impressed with them so far anyway, other than my failed attempt to do it on a crapped out Windows Vista laptop with whatever I put on it, Windows 7. So yeah, that's the little package. Didn't come boxed like the last one, but it's exactly the same thing. Little battery remote and USB to C+, so I presume you could use it on a tablet or a mobile phone, although I'm presuming it would disable the light function because it would obviously kill your battery fairly rapidly. So that is the little camera, and that one was £9 plus the shipping, which was £3. So they're a pretty good buy for that money. I'm quite happy with that. So what else did we get? Right, take 2.5. I think it disturbed the camera. It's gone a little bit out of shot. Never mind. So this one, someone is going to recognise this. It's from a new venture from Brian and Mr. X, aka Burton Central, and Mr. Brian Finnerton Central. And I went on the train set shop and bought the special edition. I can't say limited edition because there's hundreds of them, but I have got a few of these, so a few more won't hurt. So we got a Poo & Co. There should be, there's 2 of those. Put that out of the way, and a Concept iron ore, the operating one. I think this is the slightly later version with still had the old style axles on it and chassis. If I can get it out, but it had the later Hornby couplings, and that's quite a clean condition. Hopefully it'll be okay on the track. If not, we'll have to do the modification, because I am planning, even though these are a little bit out of my period, what the hell is my railway? I want to enjoy it. I'm going to utilise the old Triang drop that came with the set, build it into a like warehouse building structure so that it will tip material, and then go somewhere else. I have an operating ore plant that may or may not be suitable, but we'll have to wait and see what I come up with when I build the layout, and as to where it will go, whether it will go on the top layer or the layout one. And a couple of they're like the old 16-ton mineral wagons, but they repurposed them in later life to use on the ballasts. Now I have got some of these that I bought in the bauxite, or oxidey colour. A couple of them the bloke has painted these to match. I'd rather have them the other way, so I don't know if I can get the paint off of them to have them as Dutch livery, engineer's livery, and use them on a engineering train. And that, I think, was it. And they had some odds. I think someone's little 3D printed signal box lever kit, which was a couple of quid. And although I can probably knock some up on my printer, these are already done, so if I want to put them in a signal box that's already done, a little small one, then we've already got the bits there. I have got that die cast one. I don't think this might be all of the bits. It's got the top with the bells, so I thought, yeah, I'll bung that on the order, you know, won't hurt, it'll come in useful. So that was it from the train set. I'll put my finger over there so you can find them on the interwebs, and you just need to email them with what you want that's on their site, and they will get back to you with a PayPal address. Well, back home, and on the camera, hopefully it's not too jolty. I have changed it to ultra high definition. I had changed it down. I don't know whether that was causing the odd camera wobbling, unless I've got early onset of Parkinson's. I don't think so yet. Not yet, anyway. Anyway, the re-railer. I thought this was a little extension piece in the bag that would add on to that, so that you could put long tender trains on. I think it's just been put in the bag and stapled up, and it's an N-gauge equivalent re-railer, and then just the normal Pico one, which is okay. I could do with one longer than that, actually, probably about another 4 inches, but I don't know whether anything on the market is bigger. I know there's some 3D printable ones, but I don't know if they're any larger, but I'm sure this one will prove useful. Obviously you can roll on one wheel truck and then the other, so we'll give that a try. So just a pointer on points, buying them second hand. Some people don't do it or won't do it because they can be problematic. It is a bit of a crapshoot if you don't know what to look for. First off, one thing is, you get at a fair, put them on the table, make sure they're not warped or twisted. If there's a slight bit of movement, you might find that a strategically placed tack can hold them down, but they can be very problematic if there's a warp in the rail or they're not square. Look down them, make sure this rail is square and perpendicular to the other one. Obviously it's peeling away, but the other thing to look for is the area of the frog isn't rounded with wear, because this can cause wheels to jump off the guard or check rails here and here that are in place. And sometimes when these are took off layouts, assuming that they're sort of fully second-hand and not ones that have not been necessarily used and just put in store, the rails can detach from here. These ones can come totally adrift. Obviously, if the electrical connection underneath isn't there, I'd just walk away unless you're repairing them because you're desperate. Don't bother with them. You can solder them, but sometimes in that process the sleepers melt, so you fight a losing battle. So check that the rails are all still attached to the chairs. If there is some drift, I wouldn't bother buying them, but you can repair them, tack them with super glue. And again, this end can do it as well. And you can find this section will lift and be mobile. Again, it can be held in place when you put the fish plates on the rail, but it can cause problems. I have got some that I've just had to tack with glue because I've caught them, but also if they are lifted from a layout, it can cause these rails to be twisted or buckled. So yeah, if you see them, don't bother. You might as well pay another £1 and get a better one. If it's crucial to you that the springs work and the contacts underneath, obviously these are electro frogs, so it's not the end of the world because you can pick up your supply. Now these have changed over the years with the termination points and wire soldering points and bits you have to cut through depending on how you're wiring it. Make sure that the rails line up when you're examining them, and these aren't twisted or buckled. Anything that's faulty, really don't bother with them. If you happen to have one that is slightly damaged, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I've got some on that old exhibition layout that are completely homemade from Pico ones, but tie bar damage. But if they're flat and true, square, and the points I've just mentioned, the track's not loose, come away, bits aren't broken or missing, then you should find you're in luck. They're normally £6 to £7.50, I find, at the shows. Maybe a little bit more on eBay. These are the long Picos, so these are the biggest ones, and these are the medium. These are streamline, not set track. But you can see these ones are slightly newer. They're a shinier one, and there is a change in the tie rod. That one is a lot thinner than the old style ones. Personal preference is, if it wants to focus again, I would take that old design, which is much more chunkier. Might not be as prototypical, but that one just looks like a reason to fail, doesn't it? It's very thin and cheap and nasty looking. The trackers also, I think they've used a different plastic on these ones. These tend to be a bit more brittle. But obviously when they're down, they're down. The only problem is when you're trying to salvage them on a ballast layout, you've got a 50-50 chance of something knackering up on these, depending on how the layout's been constructed and how it's been glued. But obviously these have come off a layout that isn't ballasted. Again, these are clean. I have bought some second-hand ones that are pre-ballasted and been cleaned up. They're okay, but obviously anything like that I wouldn't put on the main. I would put those in the storage and fiddle yards where they're easier to deal with if they are an issue. But versus what I think, whether these are £17, £19 to £21, depending on where you shop. So a project I'm undertaking, the amount of points I'm going to use, it would be an expensive old do if I was buying them direct for Pico, that seem to raise their prices unchecked because there's no competition. But that's a few pointers. Kill a few minutes. What else have we got? not a lot. So if this is the end of it, catch you on the next one.